school, I feel confused, furiously.
Ira is almost 16 years old, and this is what she does every day. She practices reading in English. Although she can't read as well as teenagers her age, a counselor says that she's made a marked improvement. You see, Ira has never been to school. Raised by a grandmother, Ira has not seen her parents for over 10 years, and the family survives on financial assistance. The Compulsory Education Act was enforced in 2003, making it mandatory for parents in Singapore to send their children to school up to the primary 6th level. This is known as the minimum education period. However, this law only applies to children born from 1996 onwards, and Ira was born in 1993. Ira's only experience with school was attending kindergarten for 2 days. She was expelled from kindergarten after her mother failed to send her for classes for 2 months. Ira, you're 16 years old, but you've never been to school before? Why?
Kalau pergi mainstream school macam leceh kan, dia nak minta parents semua, habis nanti dia tanya-tanya satu-satu. Habis dia ni tak ada black and white yang dia jaga kita orang. Kalau sekolah nak kena parentsnya IC, birth certificate tak ada. Birth certificate pada mak.
What does your grandmother think about school?
Dah cakap tapi mak dia cakap macam leceh kan. Macam susah nak kena turun naik semua. Dia dah 62 tahun, so dia nak orang temankan dia kat rumah. So macam dia seorang kat rumah pun macam kita risau kan. Pasal dia seorang kat rumah, dia sakit-sakit semua. Habis kalau macam tak ada orang kat rumah, macam dia jatuh ke apa.
Ira's grandmother declined to speak to Get Rea. She depends on Ira to do the housework and marketing daily, a responsibility most 16-year-olds would never have to bear. All those years when you didn't go to school, what were your days like?
First bangun pagi kita macam buatkan nenek kopi ke apa. Bila nenek bangun, it means kita kena buat kerja sama-sama. Nanti bila time makan tu, semua makan nanti lepas makan tu, make sure semua nak kena bersihkan. Ni nanti lepas bersihkan kita buat kerja balik biasa. Kalau macam nak pergi banyak ke lah, kita bersihkan rumah tu. Bila malam tu, barulah kita relax. Kita macam, it means daripada pagi tadi kita dah bersihkan tau.
Did you ever feel as if you were missing out on a childhood that everyone else had?
Tak lah. Mungkin pasal kita macam, itu tanggungjawab kita juga. Means nenek jaga kita, kita kena balas balik budi dia.
Ira has a 10-year-old sister who's now studying in primary 4. Her sister Ina was raised by their aunt who put her through school, and Ina has since been sent to stay with Ira and her grandmother. It was through her sister Ina that social workers found out that Ira had never been to school. How do you feel, Ira, knowing that your sister is going to school every day and you're not?
Sedih lah, macam kita nak tapi tak boleh kan. Okay, kalau nampak orang macam kat sana uniform my sister punya baju uniform kan, macam gerik gitu kan, tengok macam best.
Ira yearned for education so much that she taught herself how to read and write through the only way she knew how.
Kalau nak macam in Malay good, kita kena baca buku berita harian semua. Dan kalau kita nak in English good, kita tengok cerita English, dan di bawah cerita Melayu, dan bawah dia ada subtitle. So lepas itu kita tu, tapi sekarang macam bila dah tahu tu tak tahu macam nak pronounce pula.
Ira was put in touch with Iron Society, an organization that runs programs targeted at high-risk youths. At almost 16, Ira's level of linguistic and numeracy skills were assessed, and she was found to have the competency of a primary 2 student. Today, Ira is attending school, but school for her is a class in basic English, numeracy, and IT skills conducted for out-of-school teens.
Academic-wise, we are trying to, because it is really not realistic of us to actually get her to go through all the education, the mainstream education levels, when she has already missed a lot. Because at the end of the day, she has to get herself equipped with at least some skills, and we look more into preparing her for the workforce.
Rea is not the only teen that Iron Society has seen who's never been to school. Out of the 50 young people that Iron Society sees, 10 of them would have never been to school. Often these children come from broken and low-income families and lack educational support from their parents. Counselors believe that there are many more undetected cases like these out there.
We also need to educate the community at large also, make them aware that these things, we still have these few people who somehow fall into the cracks and got undetected for so long. So when the community is more aware, right, we should also give these people a chance. We should not marginalize them. That's important.
Rea has been going to school for the past 7 months, and so far she's been coping well with the first days of school. She's even scored her first A in IT skills.
But then
You've always wanted to go to school all these years, and now that you're finally going to school, has it changed you?
Macam kita dah pandai sikit. Kita macam dulu tak tahu apa-apa, how to spell, how to read. Tu tak tahu gila, tak tahu apa-apa semua. Habis sekarang macam bila kasih newspaper macam rasa dah boleh baca, rasa macam wow, great. Macam happy gitu kan.
And ever since you started school as well, you're now more confident when you meet people?
Macam dulu kita bila jumpa orang pun macam rasa takut-takut tengok yang teenager semua macam tak nak berbual lah dengan orang. Sampai sekarang macam in my class kira Ira paling talkative lah, paling banyak mulut sekali kat dalam kelas. Kira macam ada yang budak baru datang, nanti macam kita kena guide orang, kena cakap dengan orang kat sekolah ni macam ni, macam tu lah. Macam kira kena kasih diorang pula confidence. So kita share kita punya confidence dengan orang tu pula.
It said that only the educated are free. While some teens drop out of the mainstream education system, counselors want to make sure that they don't get washed out of society. Regina is now preparing for her first beauty examinations next year. Brandon is focused on his dream of entering culinary school.
by then it was knowing
And Rea believes her education, however simple, will lead her to a better life.